And of course, he messed up.
Welcome to the Iron Table. I'm your host, Brian Godai, and I'm
You
joined by
had to
my
get that
co
box.
host, Mr. Keith Jones. As iron sharpens iron, so should men sharpen men. We are here to enlighten, inspire, and relight that fire called self. So come on, pull up a chair, sit for a while, for truth is always on the menu. We now join the program already in progress.
Welcome to the Iron Table. Before we get started, I'm gonna have to say this because I haven't. We don't own the rights to anything. We don't, except for our own thoughts. And while we like the music, we have to say that we don't own it. But we appreciate the talents and the crafts of those musicians who have given their talents to do it. So, in honor of them, and in order to not get removed from the airways, we have to give honor and say that we don't own the rights to any music that is played here. We don't own the rights to any lyrics that is spoken, no matter how wild those lyrics might be. We don't own any of it. So anything that you hear from us, we already apologize, and I'll probably say it again at the end, just in case someone joined afterwards, and that the FCC or whoever else doesn't shut this down, because we're trying to bring positivity to the airwaves and not get canceled because we forgot to say that. So now that we've gotten that out the way, welcome to the Iron Table, where iron sharpens iron. So should men sharpen men. And if you're around some men that are not sharpening you, I suggest you find some new male friends to be around. So to the table, as always, I got my co-host, Mr. Keith Jones, our brother from another mother, Danny, and the new hotness, Steve.
Oh,
Yeah, new hotness.
New
I don't
hotness.
know
Okay.
about that one.
Well, I looked at the statistics, and I haven't even advertised it, but once this video goes out, I mean, I don't know, we might get some extra some extra fan mail or something like that. So, but as always, it's a pleasure, brothers, to meet again, to just chat, laugh, just talk about stuff that men normally don't want to talk about, or have an opportunity to talk about the things we do, men do want to talk about, but they don't know really how to express themselves in a way that will move the needle, will move the crowd.
Mhm.
So that's why we're here. And I'll start off with something that came across on Facebook, and I'm gonna ask these guys if they've seen it. And my wife brought it to me. There was a skit, we'll call it a skit, where this guy was pulling up to a cheesecake factory, and the girl wouldn't get out the car. She was like, "Look at this, look at me. I'm not cheesecake factory, material. You got to come better than that." And so I believe, and I haven't seen it. Well, my wife told me that, the guy was like, "Well, wait a minute, I had reservations to go to, Shay, whatever, and you were late. It took you some time to get ready, and we lost our reservation, and I felt like this was the next best thing." And then come to find out it was a first date. I was like, "Oh, you asking for all that on a first date?" Now, me, I'm old school. Look, my shirt says old school. We used to be able to go to the bowling alley, go to the movies back when movies was, you paying $3.25 for a matinee. And I'm not that old. A matinee. And that was fine. You go out, then you go somewhere and grab something to eat. Might be an Applebee's or someplace, or McDonald's. If you back in the 70s, you go there and you have a good time. You're getting ready to talk to someone, and then all of a sudden, that's it. That is a good first date. Now that is not a good first date. You're considered cheap. It's like you got to put like how many best foot forwards do we have to put as men? So I want to get your opinion on that, and we've all been in a dating field. We've all been on, a couple of first dates, talk about maybe one of your first dates, and if that mentality is helpful or is hurtful, and how would you really kind of tell men or young boys who are going out, who are, just joining the dating field, like how to date in this environment with the lessons that we learned from the past?
Well, I just want to jump out and say that dating and just the whole realm of romantic relationships has changed
Yeah,
a
man.
whole lot.
I'm so fortunate to be
Tell
out
me
of
what
this.
you know.
I think one of the first things that I'll say is that it used to be that you had to have a lot of good, you had to have some game. You had to know how to approach.
Uh-huh.
That's true.
You had to have your one liners down. You had to know how to finesse, in these situations, in person. Like you had to muster some courage. Now you just have to like a picture or swipe, one way. I don't know how much courage that takes. I don't know
But
how
that
much.
helps us though, because remember, we're, as guys, aren't we visual first?
Yeah,
If
but
you don't if
I
you
don't
don't
know if
look
it's
good, we
helping
not
us like
walking across that aisle.
I don't know if it's helping us like it should be because I, like you said, like the rest of you, I'm old school, and I think there's some merit to being able to have to build up the courage to run the risk of being rejected sometimes on a public forum where you gotta figure out what you're gonna say, and again sometimes it starts the day before. What you gonna wear, what you gonna say, how you gonna say it, when you gonna say it, just to ask her out. And so going up, like you had, there was a whole lesson in the whole process. I think it's become so much easier. I don't always think some of these young guys value the lessons that we had to go through just to say, "Will you go out with me?" and hope that she says yes.
I mean, how hard was it? You see someone, you
What?
look at them, you make it sound like I'm supposed to be sitting at home, like writing on a board. All right, I like this girl. This is where I saw her. These are the qualities that she has. How am I going to acknowledge her qualities in addition to walking across? It
We
almost
weren't
sound like
we weren't asking because we
you
like
stalking.
qualities. We like we like other qualities.
But see, and there you go. There's the $1 million answer. We are we are forgetting. Sometimes we are under a illusion, and especially guys and women. When thinking about guys, we are under an illusion of what our first thoughts are when we see a woman. My first thoughts are, oh, I wonder how good of a conversationalist she is or anything like that. No, we are visual first, and we are thinking, oh, this is pleasant to the eyes, and I want to do something. That's just we're human beings. That's just what it is. It is what it is. And even
Christianity
the
says
whole
no.
the whole game part comes with, I'm about to spit game because there's something that I want to do, right? As a man, everything else is extra. Okay, you know what? You sexually, I am really attracted to you. Okay, you talking sweet or whatnot. Okay, you're respectful to me. Okay, you're not crazy. Okay, those are extra added things. But the initial thing, and everybody kind of seems to forget, is that we as men, we're sexual first. Now we don't have to always put it on display, but we're under there's a bad illusion of that's not the first thing that's on our mind. So again, sometimes there's some things even for women that I have to tell them, hey, like you know what, you're at this point in time, you're being very what's the word, naive to think that a man is doing all of these things because he wants to get a understanding of how good of a conversationalist. No, there's reasons, but a man is not just complimenting you on, oh, you're here. We don't care. You know what I mean? We honestly, we don't care.
Yeah,
We don't care. It's cool, but and it's certain things that we care about and certain things that women care about, and it's about knowing what a woman is and what a man is, having that understanding. We don't care. You could come out here if you're my wife or I'm trying to get to know you, whatnot. At a certain point in time, I know that all these fake things, that all these, you're beating your face with all this makeup on, the eyelashes. That's not the real you. That's okay. That's what you want to do because a lot of times women aren't dressing
or putting on makeup for us. They're
No,
not
they're
doing
not.
it for us.
No,
They're
not
not.
us.
Not for us. No.
It's for
Not at all.
it's for other women.
So
Not at all.
but you mentioned like we don't care,
Hmm.
but at some point we do care. We do care about
Exactly.
all the, and so
Hmm.
is it that we don't care when we're dating, but as soon as we get in a relationship, that switch, that switch flips, and then we want to care that we,
I
you
think
know,
I think we start caring at a certain particular. There's gradual ages when we start to really care. So my thing is, as an 18-year-old, and I'm going out on a date, there's only certain things I care about. But as like if I'm a 40-year-old, 45-year-old, and I'm dating, there's certain things now that I really care about. Not only still the sexual aspect is still there, but now I care about a little bit more. How bad? And like for me, it would be like, okay, since there's going to be disagreements, we hope those disagreements don't turn into arguments. We sure enough hope those disagreements don't turn into fights. How do we have those rules of engagement that I was talking about? How do
mhm.
we disagree? And for me at this point in time, that is extremely important of how we are going to argue.
I think.
Extremely important because it's gonna happen.
Oh, it's going to happen.
Going.
It's gonna
It
happen.
has to. It has to happen.
Yep.
Right. So in different age brackets, and because with age you're supposed to get wiser and more wisdom. I think that those what we care about definitely changes. At 18, look, I'm not trying to really get to know you that like, and that's again that's the
No,
No,
it's
illusion
no,
it's
no,
true.
no.
of
It's
what
It's
true.
this
true.
It's
is.
true.
It's true. The comedian Sinbad said, when you older and you shopping for a woman, you need to find a woman who know what meds you take, and she keep them in her purse.
Jamal.
Jamal,
Jamal. Open your mouth.
open your mouth. So no, the priorities as men as we get older they change. But going back to what you opened with while dating, because that can be while young and old. There's certain things because the world has changed and expectations of a lot of women have changed.
Expectations.
So a lot of women are saying, and then some other comedians and other people came out this week talking about the whole list that was compiled of places not to go on a first date. Now, everybody to each his own, because all women said, if you look at the comments below, all women don't co-sign this, but the reality is that some of them do. Some of them feel that if I take the time to get my hair, my nails, my makeup done, and I take the time to get ready, when you pick me up, you need to take me to a 5-star restaurant or
But we
or
just
greater.
met.
Right. Well, I'm worth what I was told by when I've asked some young ladies. They said that that's their time they're giving up, and for their time, you should give them the best.
But think about what you just said. They are saying, I'm going to do all of this for you, right? You need to do this because I'm doing all of this. I didn't ask for that. I didn't ask for you to do all of that. So there's an expectation that you're going to do all these things that I didn't ask for, but I better do what you tell me that you want me to do. What about what I want? Because
Oh,
if
oh, oh.
Applebee's, or I'm not Applebee's, I'm sorry, what was it? It was
Cheesecake
Cheesecake
Factory.
Factory. Cheesecake Factory. Okay, there's not really no expectations with that. Roof Chris, there's some expectations with that. There's some expectations. I'll say this. My girl has took me to some places. I'm a big steak eater. She's bought me two or three, I think four tomahawk steaks. There's an
Oh.
expectation that I have to, whatever it is that there's an expectation that she's
They
bought me,
do
in
that for
tomahawk
us.
steaks are like 150. Oh yeah, I'm marrying this one. Yeah. Now you see why I bought her the Corvette. But think about that. Because of what you're doing for me, now there's an expectation that I'm putting on myself of what I'm going to do for you.
You want to do it.
There you go. Exactly. And
You
now
look
at this
forward
point
to
in
do it.
time,
You're
I
happy to
look
do it.
forward to do this. So my thing is, when we give, there's give and take. There's give and take, but you cannot dictate what it is that you're going to give me. That's
Especially
how's
the
that?
first the first the first date. I don't know you. I
Yeah.
don't know you.
No. I think for those of us who have entered the realm of dating in this season of the relational apocalypse, I'll say I I'll say this. Number one, like to second everything else, it's an exchange. But you meet people, and because sometimes online is the first time you come in contact with somebody, you're not taking them in no Ruth Chris, because first time you see him, you like, I don't know. I've been in some situations where the people who you went out on a date with, they did not look like
Right.
the person who you showed. And I've
Did
also
you?
been where the whole vibe, the whole energy, the whole in person, it's just like, yo, I'm not spending $150 on, nah, the first
I'm
date,
not spending
we go,
40.
yeah, I'm frugal. Yep.
Most
We
definitely.
going to the
Oh, all right.
two for 222, whatever that was at Applebee's. That's where we going. And you, if I didn't have a car at the time, you drop me off at a friend's house.
Yeah.
'Cause you don't even know where I live.
I learned my lesson one. I was like, yo, first day, I was like, yo, let's meet at this really nice restaurant. And I was so pissed off. I was pissed because, like, the moment that we got there, it was just like, you the person? And I'm here to spend this
On
on,
you.
oh, we never coming out ever again.
Ever.
But yeah, no. I completely holistically, categorically dismiss whatever that viral post was, because like the first time that we get together, like it has to be like on some old. It's not about extravagance, and if it is, I'm calling
There
you a
you go.
gold digger. And it's
There you
like,
go.
you can't get down with Chipotle or Nando's or something like. Then you're not for me, because we can do the high tier stuff, but we also got to be able to rock the. I need somebody who can rock both ways. That's just me.
Most definitely. But think of. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. You good?
No, I was going to say, is it fair? We talked about give and take.
Mhm.
If there's the expectation, what if they're valuing what they have, their looks, their bodies, and they're valuing it over what we've come to the table with. Is that fair? Like, how do you tell someone, like, you might value this at a 10, but really I value it at a 5.
Just like that. That's not important
Amen.
to me. That's not my priority. That doesn't determine whether I like you or not. Again, going back to salaries again, because while dating, a lot of women would like to tell me how much they made. That is for me. That's not a defining. That doesn't determine anything
It's
for
not
me.
like they're going to use it.
Well, again, in a lot of situations, again, a lot of the philosophy of women or some is that your money is your money and my money. No, your money is our money and my money is my money for some women.
Oh.
So
Oh.
We gonna
yeah,
Oh.
we gonna
yeah.
have
So
Oh.
so when you tell me how much you make, I come from a place where I don't even assume that I'll have access to that. So I don't even get excited when I hear, "Oh, you make X amount," because I don't go in with the expectation that it would be available. Now there are some, like I said, we are in a modern relationship where now men and women have to learn how to budget money together. Where before our grandfathers and fathers before them, daddy went to work, he made all the money. Sometimes maybe give it to grandma, maybe not. Maybe he came home and paid all the bills. Who knows? Point is, they didn't have to do a double income in a lot of households. Now we are in a new space, in a new territory, and it's kicking our butts because we don't know how to do it in a lot of houses. People are figuring it out because it's not new, but it is difficult. It causes a lot of divorces, or money does. So on first dates or in dates when I'm told what the salary is, that's not important to me. Can you budget? Can
to.
you are you a good steward with the funds? If you make $1 million but you owe 2 million, you broke. So that
What
it
we
doesn't.
doing here? What we
What
doing
we
here?
doing?
I wonder if they're
But see,
telling
here's
you
the.
the reason. I'm sorry. Go on, Steve. I
Oh
ain't
no, no,
cut
you
you
no,
off.
you
No,
get you can
no,
speak.
no, no. You go, because you got something. You got something to say. Go on.
See, here's the thing though. When we're talking about, even let's take it a step deeper. We're talking about first dates. We got to start
First,
thinking about what is our point.
First
What's
date.
what's the point? What's the point of our first dates? Because my thing is, I like to get to, if I'm really, if a woman really wants to get a man to really be interested in her and get to know her. Sit down to eat is the worst place to get, because this is an act. We're putting on this act. We're putting on this front. My thing is, even for me, what I found out, if I really wanted to get to know you, I'm gonna take you shopping. I'm gonna take you to the mall. I'm gonna see exactly how it is that you interact with not only just how you like things, how we talk and how we conversate about certain things too. Certain things that we see, not only just the merchandise, but people watch. Getting to understand how you are as a person, getting to see how you interact with different people. Because you know what, you may make all this money, this, that, and look all glamorous, but I see how you talk to other people, and I don't like you may treat me nice, but you may talk to other people like crap. And it's like, well, you're not the type of person I would want to be at. But if we're just sitting down at a dinner and we're just talking, we're both fronting at this point. This is a act. So we got to figure out, what is it the real reason of a first date? What are we really trying to do? Because a lot of times that first date, other than just physical appearance, if I haven't seen you anywhere else, this is all an act.
I want to
We
go
don't
to the
really get
pool.
to know each other. Right.
I
Right.
want to go.
You know,
I want to go somewhere they're gonna get wet and the makeup gonna come off.
Yeah, swimming. Let me see what you really look like without the.
I want to see the without the wig,
I-
without the makeup, without the lashes. I want to see you without all of it.
Right. Right. Because like I said, it's a front. We
Go to
just
the
sitting
water park.
down at this expensive restaurant. We playing games at this point because it's not our true authentic self. It's really not. You really get to see people in natural environments. Like these ultra expensive places that you want to go on the first date. That's not a natural environment. If me and you can kick it and sit at a bar and just chill, we talk and we vibing, sitting shoulder to shoulder, not cross, because it's like almost an interview at this point when we sitting face to face, like,
Well,
okay, what you bring to the table? What you bring to the table?
it is.
Never mind.
Yes.
I took
It's
Lisa
some
out
for me.
for a
It's
lunch
somewhat
date.
of an interview because it
Good
determines
part.
are we going to do this again? Because again, there was some I went on. When I went on dates, it was some that after the first date, I'm good.
Yeah.
we not we.
It's like
Thank you for coming. Good night.
you try it, and it's just like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Like
That
you,
face.
Wasn't there something else this week where about a woman was photographed, not photographed, she was videoing her first date with a man, and she was eating oysters, but she was like down, like I guess they were supposed to go out for drinks first, and that's it. They were just supposed to go to the restaurant for drinks. That's it. First date, drinks. And she decided, oh, you know what? They got they got two oysters for $15. I'm getting that too. And he was footing the bill. After first oyster combo, second, third, fourth. I think it went on for like six of them. So she ordered that, ordered some other stuff. Guess what he did? Oh, I gotta go to the bathroom. Never saw him again.
Mm.
Never saw him again. And so she had the nerve to then post online. Look what this dude did. X, Y, and Z. Blah, 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 blah. But it was a whole thing about we were supposed to be going to have drinks to get to know each other, and you decided to take an inch. And I mean, you have an inch. You were given an inch, and you took a mile with it. And now you're mad because, for one, you're mad because I left after you reneged on our contract that you said was going to do. But now you posting this whole entire day. So what are we? What are you doing? You're doing all these things not for me, not for us. You're doing it for the outside world, for your friends, for your family, whoever else. And it's this whole, again, like with dating, this whole era of I have to let everybody know everything that's going on, and I'm not. It's not for us. It's for everybody else, and that's not cool. If we date and if we living for everybody else instead of the two people that are in the relationship, you're gonna have a problem day one.
yeah. I just want
Till whenever you
to
get out of it.
notice one thing in, and then I'll let you go, Brian. But I think for me, like, I believe that ultimately when you're dating somebody, like the whole objective is to find your person, right? And so if that is your objective, and you're coming to somebody who's, I'm gonna call it for what I see it. I'm gonna call it like I see it. It's superficial. And for me, if my ultimate goal is for better or worse, and you coming out the gate saying like I'm looking for better, it's just like that's a red flag to me. And I'm like, so what's going to happen if and when we're not all the way up here? Like, do you dip out because you only here for, the dude that's got the bag, the dude that's got, and I understand the need to protect and provide. I understand that security is a big thing for women, but you got to be able to have a balance, and to come out the gate demanding that, okay, this is what I'm worth on a first date. To me, that's a red flag. That shows somebody who, when it's not for better, they're gonna dip out, and it's like, you can miss me with all that.
Yeah.
You can go somewhere. I'm good.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. Most
I'm
definitely.
thankful that I'm no longer in the dating game. I have to say that in order to stay in this house. Um, and then also, I remember when Missy and I first went out. Our first date was a bowling alley because I wanted to see how competitive she was. We went to,
For
I
sure.
want to say it must have been Fridays or Applebee's, uh, and then I think we ended up at Rita's. It was just very simple, and it wasn't. No, I didn't feel like I needed to hit a home run because it was a first date, and I was like, no, I'm getting to know you. I know of you, but I don't really know you. And these are some of the ways, like, Steve said, you can't really go out to eat and just sit at someone. You're putting your best foot forward, but we always got to drag that other foot sometime later on down the road. But when did it all change? I mean, when what changed the idea of dating where it
So
had to be a home run
social media,
all the time? What is it
social,
really social media?
social.
Because even before then, I mean,
Here's my take. Like, even down to things like engagements, where,
Mm-hmm.
like, getting more and more extravagant. Why? Because, oh, did you see this idea, this view? You're no longer competing with the people who are in your geographical area. You're
The
competing with the
world.
With the world, the
The
entire
world.
world.
and everybody's
Yep.
watching. And now people can't even have a baby without doing a gender reveal. Where'd that come from? That's social media. Like, you can't even just have a baby. Like, yo, we got,
Shut up and have your baby. We don't need to know.
like, everything needs a public display. And it's like, remember that movie, The Truman Show?
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
really like, is that
Mm-hmm.
we've come to where
Mm-hmm.
we have to have everything.
Everything.
We need every. I say it's largely media, heavily social media, who is creating a culture where we feel compelled to conform to what we see others do, and some of these people can't afford that, and they going into debt over these. I saw a couple today, and they were talking about these friends of theirs that had this extravagant wedding, and the next thing you know, you look up, they were staying in their house. 3 weeks later, they getting divorced. And it's
Mm.
just like, what, you still paying for the wedding? Now you got to pay for a divorce
I
too?
told you.
Like,
I know a few people right now. Unfortunately,
Me
under that.
too.
Yeah. Well,
I know
you
zero
know
people.
some too is
Where am I?
you still paying for the wedding, and now you got to also pay for a divorce, and that's terrible. That
yeah,
is terrible.
So what can be done in order to kind of reverse, you know, um, and I think about, and this will be a podcast another day. Music today definitely sucks. The music back in the day was about love, care. I mean, yes, back in I'm talking about 70s, 80s, that music was
it's
about what songs? What?
we had to talk about the toxic ones from back in the
I
Oh
day.
know.
yeah.
And yeah, Boys
Oh
to Men, I
yeah.
know. They have
It,
a special class with you.
yeah,
You
and
know.
even I was listening to Stevie Wonder, where he was just talking about, I was made to worship and
And it's all-
adore you. I'm like, whoa,
Wait a minute,
Steve.
you talking about Stevie Wonder with Keith on the phone?
No,
Yes,
no, we've talked about this. No, I mean there are songs. There are songs that
I
again
was
he
made to
yeah I was
worship
made
you.
I said I
Adore.
was yeah I told you like again I
Bro.
think from the 60s through the 80s 90s because Babyface was a good one as well. They wrote songs that appealed to women because they were unrealistic and flat and based just lies, just
Yeah, taught us how
lies.
to lie.
Look,
Taught us how to
take
lie.
it further. No, no, take it further. I literally 30 minutes ago was in the car with my girl, and I had to turn the radio down. We were listening to Diana Ross, "Upside Down." Was it "Upside Down"? You turning me that
Mhm.
song,
Yeah.
right? I turned it down. I said, she said, instinctively, I say to thee, I'm aware that you're cheating, but nobody makes me feel like you do. And
Yeah,
This is okay. This is
It's not
so. It's
okay,
that.
but that was the norm back then. Just
Ooh-wee.
again, favorite song, Papa was a Rolling Stone, even though my dad was there, the first 5 minutes, Keith and I came up with a deadbeat that I mean, it's something that happened then. But those songs again had the what is it, the blueprint on how to date and love and approach a woman. Keith, you were talking about what was it? Marvin Gaye. We're talking about what was that? I got a fire inside of me in my oven. I'm ashamed I'm off from Black Car. I can't remember the song, but
Sexual healing.
yeah, okay.
Have you ever listened to the whole? Have you ever listened to the whole song? Like, no, the end, like the extended version of the end. There's a piece of that song where it's fading out. He says some crazy stuff, bro.
Yeah, he
Listen
stopped,
to
and that's what I'm saying. No, he does. I will say that at the end where they faded out, they did it for a good reason. But when the song starts off, he's actually very polite. That's what I was telling Brian. If you actually listen, he's actually asking or requesting. He said, "Hey, I'm hot just like an oven. I need some loving, baby. I think I'm capsizing. The sea is rising and rising. When I get that feeling, I need it." And so it starts out with him making a request. And I think a lot of men start and listen, since we grown, we start out asking, "Babe, hey, what's up? Let me get with you. Hey, honey, I'm here. I need you." And then it gets to that nasty, Mr. Freak Nasty at the end. So listen, it happens. It happens. Don't make me wait for it because
dude.
Oh, he got it.
The end of the end of the song. End of the song when he is fading out. Please don't procrastinate. Heal me, my darling. It's not good to masturbate.
So apparently now Danny
I know what the lyrics
rubbed over
were.
to Steve. We know what they are, man.
I knew what the
know
lyrics
what they
were.
are.
But that's what I said. I knew
it was outrageous. It was outrageous. Outrageous. So music always been kind of.
This is why
I really do
look
think
very white.
that social media is a mother. It's
like, so think about it. Let's say Motown, Detroit. Let's say so Marvin did his thing, and let's say those lyrics were explicit because he could do it in Detroit. There was no social media, and unless he did a concert somewhere, so it didn't spread as fast. With everybody having a phone in their hand, everybody it's like a outbreak of some type of disease. Everybody is infected
instantly.
Everybody. That's why we even having a topic. It was sent out so quickly, and everybody reacted to this one video so much so that again it was instantly a contagious event that is just got everybody, just some people, and it's gotten under their skin, so to speak.
Most definitely. And social media in of itself is, there's a reason why I block myself from even using social media. You know what I mean? It's a reason because I could see me and Keith talked about this before. It's like he showed me something on was it Instagram or I forget, was it Pinterest or something like that? No, or was it Reddit? And I said, he showed me something on Reddit, and I said, Keith, why did you send me that link? Because 2 hours later, I done went down a rabbit hole, something else. You know what I mean? So it's like I could see, even for me, social media is not for me. But again, think about it. Social media gives us a point to where at a certain point in time when we exit high school, sometimes we just go to other states for colleges, right? And unless you had a very strong bond with somebody, you kept in contact with them, or you never saw them again. There's a reason why certain people aren't supposed to be in our lives, right? Social media keeps you glued to all of these people that are not. God don't really want you in your life. They're not meant to be in your life, but social media keeps them glued to you. So you feel like even you can't even break up with somebody no more without still being really kind of attached to them because you follow them on social media. So it's hard. It's hard for you to have a breakup because now 2 years you're still looking at their pages thinking like, why is this person? Oh, they doing all this stuff with this person. How can they do it with me? Normally you would have never saw that. You would have been able to get on with your life. It's something demonic about this social media, man. It's hard to put.
It definitely keeps people stuck.
Yeah,
it definitely keeps people stuck.
Word, indeed. I've seen a lot of good.
Yeah.
But you can't deny the evil. It's you know what? It's literally the proverbial tree of knowledge of good and evil.
It is.
Ooh.
It
Oh, he
is.
dropped that boy.
It is,
Oh
but
goodness.
because it is.
I'm gonna use that one, man. That was good. That was good. That was
That's
good.
what it is. I'm
Mm,
sure it originate with me, but
No, it definitely is. It
mm.
is. It's
I never thought
it's
about that.
everything you it's everything you wanted to know. Unfortunately,
So is
And
there
we're
any
not
hope?
meant to know everything. We're not
not
meant to.
No.
don't need to. Oh my gosh, don't need to.
So is there any hope? I mean, for Keith, your son, he's 18 now, and he's going to
Ooh.
start dating. Is there any hope for him to be able to, date effectively? And during these times where you got social media, you got music telling you to do one thing, you got um women, telling, girls you need to get all this while you can, because if you can't get it, you know, someone else will get
Yes,
you. Like what? Because he's
he
going to
does.
see
He
this
does
one
have. He
day.
does have hope. It's gonna be trial by fire, but he has hope because he has a dad and great uncles. Uh, all you guys and shout out to Uncle Gary. He has people that are gonna tell him and be honest with him. I will say this because eighth grade, and I don't know who listening, but eighth grade, he had this little friend that claimed his little girlfriend and
oh, I remember that one.
telling all his little business. Now let me check. All right. So
You
he had this little girl, and every day he would get her something from the vending machine. This man was going in my little change bucket, getting change because I noticed I was getting low. And I finally confronted him on it, like, yo, what you been going in my stuff for? And this I found out my man was buying this girl snacks every day from the vending machine after school. He
Okay, ain't nothing wrong with that.
okay.
wait, wait,
What?
wait.
And
Go
so
ahead.
I said, I noticed the interaction between I observed the interaction between my son and this girl, and again I'm older and a little wise. I could tell a little bit when somebody really don't like you,
Mm-hmm.
but because you buy snacks every day, they like you. So I told
Mm-hmm.
him, I said, I'll give you money on one condition: for the next 2 days, you don't buy anything. Tell her that for the next 2 days I can't buy you anything. And I want to see, I said two things. I was like, she might be okay with that and say, all right. Or she might step up and say, well, that's okay. I'll cover the next day or that day. Um, my point was when you can't provide it anymore, you choose to stop, see what happens. She ripped my son a new one, long story short.
Mm.
She went and then she dumped him and went to the next guy.
Mm.
So
Mm.
he learned a very valuable lesson in eighth grade that
Yep.
some people
Mm-hmm.
will like you for what you're doing for them and not for who you are. As long as he had money and he was stealing from his parents to get her what she wanted, he did. Oh, I like you. You're the best. But the moment he finally said, "No, I can't do that," she got rid of him.
And that's what
So
I'm about. What Brian, the initial question he said, and how I answered, why I answered the way that I answered, because there's some that's what they're looking for,
yeah,
and it's
Mm.
superficial. Point that it's like, okay, once you're not buying me nothing, like what I'm here for, and it's just like I'm not here. No, life is too short. I got bronchitis. Life is too short. Ain't nobody got time for that.
But then,
You
is it
know?
our fault for picking those type of women, using our eyes and instead of using, our minds, which are more
who,
logical, to say,
who
okay,
picked up?
this girl looks like a 10, but this 5 ain't that bad because she has, she's not going to use me for my money. So
We
why don't
because
we?
we fall under the same illusion that women do. We think we're going to change them.
Mhm.
They just like they think we're going to. No, you're not. You can't change. You can't force or make anybody do anything. My thing is the way my girl loves me. I would feel a certain way if I had to make her do that, and that's what makes me her
Right.
loving me without me having to make her do that makes me love her even more.
Yeah.
Again, if I have to change you, if I have to make you do something, what I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting my time because it's not going to work. Just like
Yeah.
when women get into these situations where the man is this doing that and the third or whatnot. Oh, you know what? Don't worry about. I'll change him, and then get mad 2 3 years later when he's doing the same stuff he did day one, and you
Mhm.
mad because of what? But the same thing with men. we feel like we're going to be, oh, that's okay. Yeah, we'll change your thought process. No, you can't change. You can't change anybody. And at that point in time, if you have to change somebody, you're wasting your time. You're
Mhm.
wasting your time.
And you see character in these situations, in these moments. And there are two people, influencers, that I follow and I look at. One of them, his name is Alex Hormozy. I don't know if anybody is familiar with Alex Hormozy, but he's an author, entrepreneur, founder of acquisitions.com. But he's a multimillionaire. He and his wife Layla, they had over $100 million in assets, businesses, um, at a, and they were still probably early 30s or late 20s, and he's a very influential person. But his girlfriend at the time, they were staying at his girlfriend's parents' house, and he's going through these different iterations of businesses, and he's not successful. He's
Mm,
failing. He's failing to the point that he tells her, you know what? I really appreciate all that you've done for me. It's probably going to be better for you to go and find somebody else, somebody who's more stable,
ooh,
somebody like this. And she looks at him and she says, I would sleep under a bridge with you if it came down to it.
mm,
And so
mm,
that level of commitment is what really is necessary in order to have a love that lasts a lifetime. Same thing with Brendan Bouchard, who's one of
mm-hmm,
the coaches. He's one of the best coaches in the world. I'm big into coaching, and he's not successful. He's living in his girlfriend's apartment, and the day that changed everything for him was when she's sleeping on a bed and his bills are literally on top of her. She's literally sleeping under his bills. And very similar, she was very like, yo, I'm with you. I'm ride or die. And I think that men,
mm,
that's what they're looking for. And so with this post that's going around and all of these discussions about, hey, you got to come correct. It's like, if you can't rock with me in all phases of life, you're not for me. And
right,
it's a character thing. It's a It shows character when somebody
mm-hmm,
can ride through the tough times, because those tough times are sure to come. And really, that's what it's about for me. It's not about whether or not what status. It's about, all right, are you going to be somebody who has the character to make it through the tough times? What do you
Because
like?
sometimes are not always financial. It's not always about
Yeah.
status. Sometimes it's again being in the mental health field. What happens when there's depression or breakdown or
yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of other things that represent tough times outside of money.
mm-hmm,
And are
mm-hmm.
you ride or die? Like you said, are you ride or die? Are you here?
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird that because most, probably 95% of people get married either at a church or have a minister, um, you know, get them, marry them. But there's always that particular thing where they say, for better or for worse, and those vows. So what, but for better or for worse, for ride or for die? It's what, when you get married, that's one of the main things they talk about, for sickness and for health, for better or for worse. So why is that not at our at the forefront of our minds when we're thinking about somebody that we want to be with? Are you going to be there for me in sickness or health? Are you going to be there for me for better or for worse, for ride or die? So it should not just be men thinking about this, but women should be thinking about this too, because we get there before God and make these vows when we get married. So that should be one of that should be a core value, for
Mm.
better or for worse, because there's going to be both. There's going to be. It's like I said before, I tell my couples all the time, you're gonna disagree, you're gonna argue. You don't
Ain't
want to
nowhere,
fight, but there's gonna be,
nowhere around.
it's going to happen. But understand, it's gonna happen. Everything's not going to be perfect. So when I'm looking for somebody, I'm going to look at for somebody that is going to be there for me for better or for worse. And those examples that you brought up were perfect examples. So immediately, you know what I thought when I heard that? For a man, you telling me that I would sleep under a bridge for you? I'm marrying you. That's it. That's it. I found the one. Your marriage material. Your
Yeah.
marriage material. Because now you speak to those values that when we go before God, we talk about. You speak to those values. So guess what? That is my safety and security for me, for better for worse as well. So that makes me work 10 times as harder to make sure, hey, you know what? My wife, my future wife is willing to do this for me. So I got to go 10 times as hard for her. So make sure that she don't got to do that.
But
Why
how
you
do
think
you
Point
know
blank.
that that's going to happen? But
as it right now? That's why. That is why.
but how do you know that's going to happen if you're not willing to be transparent? If you're not willing to allow those situations to happen? And we've been taught that a man is strong, that a man always has to provide, that he has to do X, Y, and Z, and not and whatever X, Y, and Z is, it's never heard to be vulnerable, to let stuff fall apart. It's to handle, take care of it. So how can we put women in a position to be supportive, to be that sleep laying underneath the bridge before marriage if we're not allowed to do it or even trained to do it before during the dating and the courtship phase? Because I see
There's
a
a
lot
lot
of
of.
people don't really have problems until they get married and they get blindsided, and then
Hmm.
it's a
Hmm.
shocking thing. Like, oh my goodness, this is the first time we've ever fought. It's going to end, but we all know it's not. It's not. But
Right.
because you haven't had those, you've either made adjustments, you've made accommodations, compromises, X, Y, and Z. How can you really know that that person is that ride or die, that for better for worse, if you're not transparent, or you don't create those situations, not on purpose, but that you allow them to naturally happen, instead of
Hmm.
kind of being Superman all the time trying to fix it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
But
so
it start. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. It
no, okay.
starts with it starts with us and our thinking. And I say this to say because I've had a lot of men in couples counseling that will flat out tell me, she's not my, talking about their wife, she's not a partner. This is not a partnership. I'm the head of the household. It starts with our thinking. If I can't say that this person that I'm spending the rest of my life with is not my partner in this marriage, in raising these kids, in life, then it's going to fail. It starts with our image of the person that we are sharing our bodies with in this union. So if I don't look at you and I don't value you as a partner, how is it that I can expect you to do? How is it that I can expect you to do anything for me when I need help? We all need help. But if I'm not looking at you as a partner, then I'm not going to ever come to you and say that I need help. And guess what? I'm going to break. Eventually, I'm going to break because we cannot do it all by ourselves.
That's
When,
true.
especially when we're in a marriage, it's not going to. It's just not going to work. So first and foremost, I think it's going to take a part of us as men changing how we think about a woman's or our wife's place in the marriage, in the union. If I don't
Mhm.
look at you as a partner, it's just not going to work. We are equal. Now, there may be some things that you do better than me, and I defer to you. There's some things that I do better than you, and you defer to me. That's the give or take. That's the partnership. If I just say no, me, I'm gonna do, and not recognize where I need to be humble and chill out, let you do, it's gonna fail. It's going
Mhm.
to fail because at a certain point in time, then we're gonna get to a certain point in age if the marriage lasts when we're 50, 60, or 70, and now we're going to resent this person because we've done so much, and you feel like, well, I did this and I did that, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. Yeah, because you didn't allow that person to be your partner. You took it upon yourself, and you broke yourself because you wouldn't allow this person to help you to be a partner in this union. So it's
Mhm.
going to take a lot of us thinking about what it is that this person really means to me.
And can we do that early on, like before jumping the broom, before
Hmm.
getting married? Can we, like, and how
No,
how
I
do you do
think
that?
well, I'll tell you because I really think it's not. I think many of us know that there are things that we gotta do, but I don't think a lot of couples, or at least I'll say this because I work with couples, and even prior to getting married, going to counseling,
Hmm.
you have to have a third party that's helping you, or somebody who kind of initiates and holds you accountable, and
Hmm.
somebody who will ask the tough questions and bring that out of you. Somebody who, or even if it's not the both of you, even somebody who's pulling you aside to say, "Hey, yo, are you trying? Are you doing these things? Are somebody to hold you accountable to make sure you're making those adjustments? Because otherwise, even if you know they need to be made, you won't know how to do them. And then even if you know how to do them, you won't do them and there'll be no one to hold you accountable. So a lot of times there are men who know that they need to open up. I talked to men who told me I need to do a better job of communicating. So why don't you do it? Oh no. And I was like, so what you get ready to do? I had a client right now on the phone, call her right now. On the phone. Yep, you're gonna talk to her right now. I'm gonna help you. But you gonna do it because you know what you need to do. You simple.
Priorities, man.
It
Priorities.
was that simple. But for him, it was a combination of fear, anxiety, because he had to deal with let's deal with the real issue. You're afraid to call for whatever reason, and we got into that. There's anxiety attached to that. There's a fear of being rejected. There's humility connected to that. You don't necessarily want to be wrong, but you are. And now you got to call with your tail tucked between your legs and hope that she takes you back. And that's hard. But at some point, if you want your house and you want your home, you got to do it. You got to do it. So I'm here to do what I'm supposed to do, and and tell you call right now. And to God be the glory. I'm glad it worked because it was a gamble. It was a gamble because I was like, dear God, please don't let her. Please, God, please, Lord, please. But for what, and she did say, for once you basically you manned up and you express yourself. But we have a tendency as men to wait until crap hits the fan, and then all of a sudden we want to talk. When we have to learn how
Oh
to
my
communicate
God!
before it
Stop.
gets we really got to learn how to communicate before it gets there. We could avoid so much mess if we learn how to communicate before stuff gets that bad.
Baby,
But
I'm
we
sorry
wait
and I love
until
you.
the whole house, the whole village is on fire. Now, baby, can I talk to you? Sweet, hey, it's one honey. Come. I want to fix it.
No,
When,
we do
yeah.
exactly what we do.
So
And
yeah.
I feel like we touched the nerve when you said men need to stop waiting until till DEFCON 5 when it's already scorched earth.
It's fourth quarter,
At
2 minute
this point,
warning.
what's the point?
What you doing right now? Now you
point.
trying to play. Now you trying to play.
Yeah. But I think it's important for us to have this dialogue and discussion. I think that's really important, and because there's a generation of men who haven't been fathered who don't know what this
That's
meant
true.
on social media. They don't know that it's BS, and I'm saying the belief system is not accurate and in line and in harmony. That's what BS means. Belief stands for belief system. Don't censor me. And so. Uh,
You'll say something that we'll have
I was
to
gonna
beep
say
out.
you're gonna say something. We gonna have to
Just
edit
go ahead and get it out your system
I get it out.
so I can learn how to use Adobe Premiere Pro or whatever I'm using to edit. Go ahead,
Well,
get it out.
I do want to say this because I do know it is important. It is a critical need for a woman to know that she's going to be provided for, that she's going to have that protection, that she's going to have somebody who can like give her what she needs to be safe. And so I understand where it's coming from, but I still think we got to shoot these pipe dreams out the sky, and that starts with our collective conversations, with us educating the generation and us teaching them that their balls work and how to use them.
That was close. It's not beepable, but that was close. But I'll say this: you said their critical need. What is our critical need?
Respect.
You really want? You said our critical needs.
I mean, we got 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Our critical need. Can you keep it in 5? I've heard respect. I'm pretty sure accountability is the next word. But yeah, Steve, come on. You asked me if
Sex.
we got time. You know, what is our critical need?
Look, critical need for men is sex. I'm sorry. Look, there's an illusion that we can't say it, that we shouldn't say, or beat around the bush. We as men, and I'm sorry, and probably women too. This is a fundamental need as a human being. I need this interaction with you as a human being. God made us this way for a reason. Let's not beat around the bush. We need it at different levels at sometimes, but
it.
it's a need.
Just like an oven.
I mean, that's it. I mean, again, we beat around the bush sometimes. Again, look, I already said it before. We just sex. There we go.
So we do respect. Somebody
I
said
know,
respect,
I know you
sex, and
want to
somebody
leave me,
said
but I
food. I
refuse to
mean,
let you go. That's probably what happened. I refuse to let you go.
I know you're gonna
Now,
leave.
Under, understanding too. Understanding.
We
my
do.
question, Steve, is this: when it comes to like sex and disrespect, because we got 2 out of 3 right now. So, if there's a woman who's disrespecting you, are
Oh
you
my
really?
God! Don't say it. Don't
I,
say it.
I, I
Don't
It's
say it
not going to get deep.
because you can have the biggest and the biggest, but the moment that you disrespect me, you can be the ugliest person in the world at that point in time. And
I'm just
I don't think a lot of women and men, everybody don't understand. Sexually, you could be you can be a sexual god,
hmm?
but the moment I feel disrespected from you, you are now the ugliest
It
person in
started.
the world, and I don't want to have sex with you. Sorry, I'm sorry, I just don't. I can't do it. And if I do, it's only because I'm now being selfish and just getting my needs. I don't care about you at this point. So again, that goes into you can be the prettiest girl in the world, but I've seen some very 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 beautiful women.
Crazy as
As soon as
hell.
they open their mouth, I'm no
Womp
longer
womp.
attracted to you. I'm no longer attracted to you. It's not because something you said to me, but it's like I see how you act with everybody else. I see your attitude. I see how you treat other people. And no, now I'm not attracted to you. You don't even I don't you don't
Nothing.
exist. You
Nothing.
don't. I'm sorry, you don't. So again, you're right. The disrespect comes in extremely when it comes in with that respect and disrespect. I'm sorry.
I know. I just had to put it out there.
No, no, you're right. You're right. You can turn it off like a switch. Like, man, look.
That's it.
And if we don't touch it off, now we using you. We using you at this point just to fulfill our needs. But for men that are trying to actually get out there and find something, that's a switch for us. Like, oh,
It
okay,
is.
all
It
right.
is.
No, I'm
It
out.
is.
I'm out. I could have given you the world, but you showed me who you are. And a lot of times we get involved with people. So here's the thing, and I know me and Keith have joked about this. It takes about 3 or 4 times for somebody to really have sex with somebody, especially if that sex is good. Now you are going to be emotionally attached to this person. It's gonna happen, right?
Yes,
So my
God.
thing is, we have to be selective, even when we share our spiritual connection when it comes to sex, right? My thing is, you don't. If you had a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, you wouldn't just let everybody ride it, right? Or test ride it, right? Or drive it, right? So why don't we treat our own bodies the same way?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You wouldn't, you got
Mm.
people out here raw dogging and whatnot. I bet you wouldn't let somebody with muddy boots get into your Ferrari or your Bentley. So
Come on.
why you doing these things, man? So
Preach, preach up.
but
Come
it
on,
goes
man.
it goes back to again, getting in tune first and foremost before we even get in that, man, we so out of tune with God as a world. And sometimes I have to ask myself, man, why don't God talk to us like he used to talk to us back in the Bible days? I think God is trying. God get fed
Because
up.
then he would
I can
smite
see,
us. Do you want the
man.
smiting to come with it?
I
Look,
have to kill
Me
you.
and Q done talked about. We done talked about, man. The purge need to happen. It needs to
This
happen.
is a
I
God
said,
that would open up the ground and let people
To
fall in and
swallow
then close
people
it up.
up.
and
And
I
listen,
don't
get
know if I.
stoned. You get
Nah,
stoned.
I'm
When
listen.
fine.
you
God
commit
talks to me
adultery,
through
you
my
get stoned.
friends.
You get stoned. I said, so look, what should we do? Somebody asked me, what should we do with these people that are just mass killer, just killing with no regard or whatnot, this, that, and that? I said, why are we wasting taxpayers' money? Walk them to a volcano. No, don't helicopter them in and drop them into the volcano because that's money. March them to the volcano, jump in. We wasting time at this point because my thing is the disregard. Because here's the killer part. We don't care about how people treat other people, but then when it gets personal, when somebody robs our sister, our wife, rapes our, then all of a sudden we wanna be
For
up in
justice.
arms.
Yeah.
But again, we're not really being empathetic and sympathetic to those things happen too.
True.
You know what I mean? So we gotta go back to the Old Testament God. I
He
like
said
him.
he went
I
Old
like
Testament. He ready to
oh, I
like a
want
stone,
I want
man,
some compassion.
man,
swallow him
man,
up. The whole earth just
man.
open up. Get him, God.
Man, it's sad. It's so sad. So I'm gonna send you guys a link. I'm glad that you put. I'm gonna send you guys a link. One of my friends sent me a video to this rap song, this rap video, and they got these kids. I gotta show. I gotta show y'all this. It's, and that's why I'm so passionate about this
It's
because
not
I
the one
see
about
our
Jackson.
our.
This not the one about Jacksonville, is it?
Oh no. This is just a music video. This is just
Oh,
a new music video that they have little 4 or 5 year olds involved rapping and holding the guns and everything. I'm like, something has to happen. Something
And
has to
someone
because
actually
this is not.
recorded this.
It's a rap video. This is a rap. I'll send it to you. It's a rap video. But again, what makes me so passionate about this is because I see that our actions as adults, how much it affects these kids, and it's getting
man,
worse and
man,
worse. It's getting
man.
worse, and these kids are growing up in the age of now where they do not fear police officers. They don't
Anything,
feel anybody. They don't fear
anything,
God. They don't fear
anything.
anything.
Not even.
So
I was gonna say
they're
nothing.
ready not only to die, but they're ready to kill. And that is the scary part when I have people out here that I love that have to interact with these nuts. And but it's our fault. It's our fault for breeding them this way. This is not fair. Something has to. Yeah, something happened. Y'all done got me on something else. Let me stop.
Yeah,
Oh no, we talked about
because
this before. Cancel culture.
we'll go down there. I'll go down there with you because
No, you
you
can
know how I
find this
feel.
and other things on our after party recordings. Nah,
Yeah,
fellas,
just
but thank you. I know it's getting late, and we've had a couple of, at least if you've seen my eyes, I've seen a couple of my family members come down. I think the dog. Yep, dog is on the floor looking right at me.
Yeah, I heard barking.
Yeah, I
Baby,
mean,
I had somebody come in too.
so I want to thank you again. This has definitely been enjoyable. I actually look forward to these Fridays when we're able to record. One day we'll go live. I know Danny has said that we go live and we get some interaction. I think we're getting close. We're definitely getting close to that. So before we go, any parting words from anyone? I don't have nothing to say.
Mm.
Yeah. I will say yes to all my single ladies out there. Stop letting other miserable single ladies keep you single. You letting a woman who ain't married, who don't have a man, post a video to excite all of you to
Oh.
not getting a man either. So
Mm.
that's my advice to and counsel. Yeah, we all got to do better, men and women. But I
Mm.
think let's not focus on the wrong thing. Let's focus on what we need to do individually to put ourselves in a position to be that spouse or that partner that we want to be. That's all I got.
Ooh wee. I'm glad you said that, Keith, because my ending comment is going to be women and men. How many relationship videos are we going to watch until we finally do something about it?
Right.
How many videos and how many all this stuff that's going on online are we going to continue to watch and clap and just say yeah, or yes, yeah? Do right. We don't. It's so much content out there that you're ingesting. Now
Do
take
something.
action.
Come on.
Take action. Take action now.
I like it. So I got to put in the plug with that.
Yeah,
With
I was
that,
gonna say because that's
I got to put in the plug. Because that's what we do. We're on a mission to help people do that, and we're in the middle of um, polishing and perfecting. It's called the M Squad: Couples Fighting Together for a Love That
Mm.
Lasts. TheMSquad.com, TheMSquad.com. It's all about having a place for conversations, for growth and safe space, accountability. But we don't grow in isolation.
no, we do not.
Best we do is survive. And so I just want to encourage everybody. You don't have to join mine. Find one and get in community so that you can grow, because the more we have those spaces and those communities, the more positive impact that we can have in the world. That's it.
All right, fellas. As always, it's been my pleasure, my honor, and I look forward to the next time we can chop it up at the table. Well, that's it for the Iron Table today. We hope you enjoyed your meal. Don't worry about the bill, for truth is always free. Since you got a free meal, why don't you do something for us? Leave a tip. Tell your family and friends, for there's always room at the Iron Table.